Did you know that beneath the grand arches of Westminster Abbey lies a secret that's over 1,000 years old? This iconic landmark isn't just a church. It's a time capsule of British history, holding the stories of kings, queens, and events that shaped an entire nation. But how did it all begin? Who decided to build this masterpiece and why? Stick around, because today we're uncovering the fascinating origins of Westminster Abbey, and trust me, it's a story you won't want to miss. Westminster Abbey is more than just a stunning piece of architecture. It's a symbol of Britain's rich and complex history. For over a millennium, this iconic structure has stood at the heart of London, serving as the stage for coronations, royal weddings, and the final resting place of some of the most influential figures in history. From kings and queens to poets and scientists, the Abbey has witnessed it all. But how did this legendary building come to be? Who was behind its creation, and what makes it so significant even today? In this video, we'll dive into the founding of Westminster Abbey, explore its most pivotal moments, and uncover the legacy that continues to captivate millions around the world. Get ready for a journey through time, because this is history like you've never seen it before. Long before Westminster Abbey became the iconic landmark we know today, the site it stands on had a history of its own. In the early medieval period, this area was a small, marshy island in the Thames known as Thorney Island. It was home to a modest Benedictine monastery, a quiet place of worship far removed from the grandeur it would later embody. But all of that changed in the 11th century, thanks to one man, King Edward the Confessor. Edward, a deeply religious king, had a vision. He wanted to build a grand church, a symbol of his devotion to God and a testament to his reign. But it wasn't just about faith. Edward also had political motives. By constructing a magnificent abbey, he aimed to strengthen his legacy and solidify his power in a time when kings were often judged by their piety and their ability to leave a lasting mark. In 1042, Edward began the construction of his masterpiece. The original abbey was built in the Romanesque style, with thick stone walls, rounded arches, and a sense of solemn grandeur. It was consecrated in 1065, just a year before Edward's death. Though much of this early structure has been replaced over the centuries, its significance cannot be overstated. For medieval England, Westminster Abbey wasn't just a church, it was a statement. It represented the connection between the monarchy and the divine, a place where kings were crowned and the spiritual and political worlds intertwined. And so, from its humble beginnings on Thorney Island, Westminster Abbey began its journey to becoming one of the most important buildings in British history. But this was only the beginning. Its story was about to take some dramatic turns. While Westminster Abbey began as a Romanesque structure, it's the Gothic architecture that truly defines its awe-inspiring beauty. Imagine towering spires, pointed arches, and intricate stone carvings that seem to reach for the heavens. This is Gothic architecture at its finest. The Abbey's transformation into this style began in the 13th century under King Henry III, who wanted to create a grander, more luminous space that reflected the glory of God and the power of the English monarchy. But the design of Westminster Abbey isn't just about looking impressive. It's packed with symbolism. The floor plan, shaped like a cross, represents the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, a common feature in medieval churches. The soaring vaulted ceilings and large stained glass windows were designed to flood the interior with light, symbolizing divine presence and enlightenment. Even the intricate carvings and sculptures tell stories. From biblical scenes to depictions of saints and kings, every detail has a purpose. One of the most striking features is the Lady Chapel, added later during the reign of Henry VII. Its fan-vaulted ceiling is a masterpiece of engineering and artistry, often described as one of the most beautiful spaces in the world. And let's not forget the Cosmati pavement, a stunning mosaic floor in front of the high altar. This 13th century work of art, made from rare marbles and stones, was believed to symbolize the universe and eternity. But perhaps what makes Westminster Abbey truly unique is how it blends grandeur with intimacy. While its scale is undeniably monumental, the countless chapels, tombs, and memorials create a sense of connection to the individuals who shaped history. From the coronation chair, used in every coronation since 1308, to Poets' Corner, where literary giants like Chaucer and Dickens are commemorated, the Abbey is a living tapestry of art, history, and faith. So, the next time you see an image of Westminster Abbey, remember, it's not just a building. It's a carefully crafted symbol of power, devotion, and human creativity, standing as a testament to the skill and vision of those who built it. Westminster Abbey isn't just a beautiful building. It's been at the center of British history for nearly 1,000 years. Think of it as the stage where some of the most important moments in the nation's story have played out. Let's start with coronations. Since 1066, every English and British monarch has been crowned here, except two. The coronation chair, commissioned in 1296, has been used in every ceremony since 1308. Imagine the weight of history in that single piece of furniture. Then there are the royal weddings. While today we might think of grand ceremonies at St. Paul's or Windsor Castle, Westminster Abbey has hosted its fair share of iconic unions. Perhaps the most famous was the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton in 2011, a modern fairy tale watched by millions around the world. But did you know that the Abbey was also the site of Queen Elizabeth I's coronation, not her wedding? It's a place where royal legacies are made, not just celebrated. And of course, there are the burials. Westminster Abbey is the final resting place of some of the most influential figures in British history. Kings and queens like Edward the Confessor, Henry III, and Elizabeth I are buried here. But it's not just royalty. The Abbey is also home to scientists like Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin, writers like Geoffrey Chaucer and Charles Dickens, and even an unknown soldier, representing all those who died in World War I. But here's a lesser-known fact. The Abbey wasn't always a peaceful place. During the English Civil War in the 17th century, it was vandalized by Puritan forces who saw its grandeur as a symbol of excess. Statues were destroyed, and the Abbey fell into disrepair. It wasn't until the restoration of the monarchy that it was restored to its former glory. And one more fascinating tidbit. The Abbey's bells have a story of their own. The Great Bell, known as Big Ben, yes, the same name as the famous clock tower, was originally cast for the Abbey in the 19th century. It cracked shortly after and had to be recast. But its connection to the Abbey is a reminder of how deeply intertwined this building is with the identity of Britain itself. From coronations to burials, from royal weddings to moments of turmoil, Westminster Abbey has seen it all. It's not just a building. It's a living, breathing chronicle of a nation's history. Over the centuries, Westminster Abbey has undergone countless changes, yet it has always remained a cornerstone of British life. From its humble beginnings as a small monastery to its transformation into a Gothic masterpiece, the Abbey has evolved alongside the nation it represents. Wars, political upheavals, and even natural disasters have left their mark, but each time the Abbey has been restored, rebuilt, and reimagined, standing as a testament to resilience and continuity. Today, Westminster Abbey wears many hats. First and foremost, it's still a working church, a place of daily worship, prayer, and reflection. For over 1,000 years, it has been a spiritual home for countless people, and that tradition continues to this day. But it's also a global tourist attraction, drawing millions of visitors each year who come to marvel at its architecture, explore its history, and pay their respects to the figures buried within its walls. Beyond its religious and tourist roles, the Abbey is a symbol of national identity. It's where kings and queens are crowned, where the nation comes together in times of celebration and mourning, and where the stories of Britain's past are preserved for future generations. It's not just a building. It's a living monument to the people and events that have shaped the country. In 1987, UNESCO recognized Westminster Abbey as a World Heritage Site, cementing its importance not just to Britain, but to the world. It's described as a masterpiece of human creative genius, and it's easy to see why. From its stunning architecture to its unparalleled historical significance, the Abbey is a treasure that belongs to all of humanity. But perhaps what makes Westminster Abbey truly special is its ability to adapt. While it remains deeply rooted in tradition, it has also embraced the modern world. It hosts concerts, educational programs, and even live-streamed events, ensuring that its legacy continues to inspire new generations. So, whether you're standing in the shadow of its towering spires or learning about it from afar, Westminster Abbey is more than just a piece of history. It's a living, breathing symbol of faith, culture, and identity that continues to shape the world we live in today. So, let's take a moment to recap the incredible journey we've just explored. Westminster Abbey began as a vision of King Edward the Confessor, a grand church meant to symbolize faith, power, and legacy. Over the centuries, it has witnessed coronations, royal weddings, and burials, becoming a stage for some of the most pivotal moments in British history. Its Gothic architecture, rich symbolism, and unique features make it a masterpiece of human creativity, while its role as a place of worship, tourism, and national identity ensures its relevance even today. But here's a question to leave you thinking. What would England, or even the world, look like without Westminster Abbey? How different would history be if this iconic building had never been built? It's a reminder that the places we create often outlive us, shaping the future in ways we can't even imagine. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the founding of Westminster Abbey, don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. What part of the Abbey's history fascinated you the most? And make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because next time we're diving into another game-changing moment in history, the Norman Conquest of 1066. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Westminster Abbey isn't just a building. It's a living piece of history, a witness to centuries of triumphs, tragedies, and transformations. But this is just one chapter in the incredible story of England's past. If you're as fascinated by history as I am, you'll definitely want to check out my previous videos, where we've uncovered secrets of ancient castles, explored the lives of legendary monarchs, and dived into some of the most pivotal moments that shaped the world we know today. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. And speaking of pivotal moments, in our next video, We're going back to one of the most game-changing events in history, the Norman Conquest of 1066. Imagine a single battle that completely altered the course of England's future. What really happened? Who were the key players? And how did it change everything? You'll find out soon, so make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.